All right, welcome back, guys, to the Will Reads. Yay, we're here again, and we do have a guest that just was here and then just disappeared. I think she accidentally clicked off, so we have to wait a few minutes for her to come back. Um, all right, technical difficulties. This is like typical of Will Reads, so
I'm going to turn that light off behind me while I have the opportunity.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So while we wait for, here we go. And our guest tonight. There you go. I don't know what happened. It happens. This is what happens when you go live.
It happens. It's fine. I was
All right, Alan, now it's your turn to leave the camera.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
We're just going to keep rolling in and out.
I apologize about that. I don't know what happened.
It's okay.
It's all good.
It's what happens.
I
So
took a break too.
anyways, yeah. So welcome to season 6. I guess episode 6. Yeah, this is 6. Book 6, episode 6. So no new patrons tonight, but I do want to talk about some things that are coming new for our Patreon. So I know I usually say it at the end of the show, but just wanted to talk about it. So we are adding a new perk to the Aes Sedai level and higher. So it's $10 a month, which will be around monthly. We're going to do live Ian and Chris read reacts. So we'll actually play the episode or the chapters for them live and watch them actually react to it for the first time versus talking about it for the first time a few days after they read it. We get to see their reactions in real time. Nice. But that's we're going to do that for a patron only perk. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Make sure you pick good chapters.
Well,
and not the ones where Chris and I are like,
I can't pick all good chapters. I got to throw bad ones in there every now and then because if I do all good chapters, I'm like, oh yeah, this week we're gonna do a live recording. And you're like, oh, I know it's gonna be good. I got to be a dark friend still. So
fair enough.
I still got to keep with it. So yeah, we're gonna keep on dark friending. Probably the first one will be a good chapter. I did ask our patrons to submit if they have a chapter that they really want. Not necessarily that timing will work out because we have to work with calendars, but yeah. As far as everything else goes, we also are appearing on the Black Tower podcast on Thursday. We're going on there. At least that's last time I heard from Andrew. It's on my calendar. So if you guys are patrons over there, I think you have to listen to that live, and then of course it'll be on the podcast later. But
what time is that one?
8:30 Thursday night.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then of course tons of giveaways going on right now. Some of them ended. I think one ends today. I still need to do the drawing, but. Go find giveaways. I know Jenn's won stuff from us before, so
I was going to talk about that. Thank you. That's awesome. Their giveaways are amazing. They're wonderful. Yeah. So
all right.
Yeah. So with that good segue, we do have a guest tonight. We have Jenn from GoldieThoughts joining us, and tell us a little bit about your Wheel of Time journey and your channel, what you do. I know you do a lot on Twitch, a lot on TikTok. I think you got some YouTube going on. You got lots of different things. So tell us all about it.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me on. I don't think I've been on your podcast before. This is very exciting. Good giveaways, by the way. So you guys are wonderful to your community, and that Patreon perk sounds awesome. So I'm Jenn. I'm known as the colloquialism, the keeper of the chronicles for the Wheel of Time. I've done Wheel of Time podcasts before, but I'm kind of only making segue appearances to kind of talk about it tonight. It's going to be a reoccurring on a theme, which makes me so comfortable and happy to be here with y'all. So basically, most of the time I do retro streaming on Twitch. I'm revamping everything on my stream. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays I'll be on there. I'm doing Skyrim right now, but I'm going to go back to CRPGs later. I've just came out with a new podcast, but it's not about the Wheel of Time. It's something completely different called The Literary Leftists. So it's going to be about fiction and politics. We have 2 episodes right now and a third one that I'm editing. So it's still brand new. Very excited about that. But otherwise, I know this is a wonderful 2 chapters that we're going to get into tonight. And I am chomping at the bit to discuss this with you, and I think it'll be a really great conversation. So thank you for having me on here. Yeah.
Right. And you guys might notice as well, Chris is not here tonight. He does send his regards and apologies, but he had family come in town for the 4th of July yesterday. We're recording this on the 5th. Of course, if you're listening to this podcast, it'll come out next week. If you're watching us live on YouTube, of course, hey, Yeah, it was yesterday. But for the Independence Day, he had family coming in town, and they didn't leave. So
That's why all of your guest beds need to be very uncomfortable mattresses.
Yeah.
So after like the second night, they're like, I'm gonna head on to the house. Yeah, I'm gonna get on out of here.
So he's like, I still got family staying in the recording room, so it's kind of hard for me to record tonight. I was like, dude, don't worry about it. Ian missed last week. You'll miss this week. Next week we might be off. I might be trying to find a guest host because I'm on vacation, and I will not have access to anywhere to record. Because we are having we're packing 4 families in a 4-bedroom house, like families with kids.
Oh wow!
So
that's good.
There's not going to be an ounce of room anywhere. I was like, oh, I can just go record in the living room. It's like, you think there's going to be? I was like, yeah, good point. Yeah, I'm not gonna...
You'd have to go out in the car.
Yeah, I have to go in the car. It'd be horrible, and just and I'd be just off the internet, off my mobile data. It just wouldn't be good. So I'm not going to be here next week. We might still have an episode. I'm trying to see if we get someone else to guest host. Which will be fun. It'll be something different, but we might cancel as well. So keep those announcements and on Twitter and on Discord, and I will announce well in advance what we're doing. But maybe next week. If not, in 2 weeks we'll be back.
He says well in advance. We might cancel last second because that's what we do.
That's kind of what we do. Yeah, and in 2 weeks we are having Jake back on. That was he was supposed to be our official guest in 2 weeks anyway. I asked him like months ago, and then Ian bailed out on me last week for good reasons. And I was like, hey Jake, you want to join tonight instead? And he was like, can I still get my levels? So sure. So you just get lots of Jake. Jake's gonna be like our he's on every single one of these live recordings in the background. So he's here right now. He does all the banners and stuff for me, so I can focus on the chapters and yeah.
Smash the like button.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Exactly. So moving on to personal life, as I mentioned before, I'm getting ready to go on vacation. I leave on Friday. I'm off on Friday. We're going to go to the zoo in the morning and then drive down to the beach in the afternoon. Then I'm at the beach with my family all next week, which should be fun. Get back after a week off, get enough time to recover, and then we're going on vacation again at the end of the month. So it's but that one's going to be in a gigantic house, and I am going to have room to record. So that's going to be fine. We're not going to be packed into a small house. So that's all my life right now. 4th of July was great. Kids had a lot of fun, not much sleep because we had to stay up late doing fireworks and stuff every night, and they're young, and normally they go to bed like at 7:00 because they're little kids. I have little ones. But yeah, stay up for fireworks, and they had a lot of fun, but they're exhausted. So
awesome.
Yeah. How about you, Ian? What's going on in your world? I know you're off last week, so you got like 2 weeks of stuff to fill in, right? If you remember.
Yes. So the reason for being off was life. It just got chaotic. I was supposed to be able to stay home a few days last week, and then things changed. I had to be back in at Fort Bragg every single day. Well, the weeks that I have my kids during the summer, the plan is just to bring them with me for a few days, so I'm not going back and forth so much. The only thing is, Ryder, I got him into a road and range course to get his driver's license, and he had to be there every single day. And I had to get him back and forth. Grandparents help some with transportation, but his mom doesn't really help with stuff like that. So anyways, not to go down that rabbit hole, but I went back and forth from Fort Bragg to Richmond every single day, Sunday through Friday. And that is 250 miles each way. So 500 miles a day, 7+ hours of driving with breaks. And then when I get home, I want to be awake and spend time with the kids and running them around and swim practice and everything. So I was averaging 1.5 to 2 hours of sleep for a week straight. And yeah, I mean, caffeine will carry you through that. But by day 5, you start to lose your mind. And I definitely was. So yeah.
Yeah.
4th of July weekend, I didn't have my kids, and Meredith didn't have hers, and it was actually fantastic. So we're enjoying our kidless weekends that we get here and there. There's something else coming up. Oh, and like I cleaned up a little bit. Hopefully it's not showing, but I was covered in grease like 30 minutes ago. I bought a car for Ryder. One of the last things I got to do is repair the AC. So in the parking garage, because I didn't want to pay to use a lift, I replaced the compressor, condenser, and expansion valve, and just with like a basic toolkit and jack it up one side to be able to wiggle the compressor out of there. So
Yeah.
I've been doing that all day, sweated off about 20 pounds worth of water, and
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
I'm selling my car in a month. You could have just bought my car.
I got this car for $1,500, and like
Nope,
the
was not gonna sell
bones
that
of it are
cheap.
really good. Yeah.
It's really good.
It just needs a few repairs, and it's all things I can do, and I've got the
Okay.
time down here, so
Yeah.
it's still a what a deal. But yeah, I'll buy yours for $1,500. Deal.
Nope.
We'll shake on it.
No, I can get more for the dealership than that.
Yes, you could. Yes, you
I'm
could.
next February, I'm going to be in the boat. My lease expires, and I don't even know what I'm going to do. There's nothing I have interest in, so that's gonna be a tough situation. So I definitely don't. I don't think I want the same car, but I don't know what I'm going to do. So I have until February to think about it when the lease expires.
And the
It's
used
not that
car
I don't-
market's still rough. So
Yeah, it's not that I don't like my
luck.
car. My car's just too small for 3 kids, so I just need a
Yeah.
bigger car. So I'm getting an SUV. So, yeah, it is what it is. It'll be fun. So SUV, yay. But yeah, so we'll see. Jen, how about Florida? How's things down there? I don't know if you don't have to share a personal life if you don't want to, but
No,
I know
it's pretty fine.
Beautiful sunshine state.
It is the beautiful. Well, it's the sunshine state most of the time. I was letting them know, not really right now. But right now, tomorrow is my partner's birthday, so we're going to kind of have like a nice little birthday celebration. So it works out. It's obviously around 2 days after the 4th of July, so it's always like some sort of summer activity. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna go out, and then. My sister is back in Florida. She's been in Seattle for the past 2 or 3 years. So now she is permanently moving back to Florida, about 2 hours north of me. So I'm kind of helping her out. She flew in on Friday with my niece, and they kind of crashed on the couch. And I'm going to hopefully, be seeing a lot more of them. My mother has decided to take up an older interest in horse showing for quarter horses, and I'm like, okay, she's 70 and that's what she's decided to do, but she's actually pretty good at it. And so she comes down because I guess in Ocala is really big, like horse country area, like huge. So she has her horse like stabled here, and then she does some sort of quarter horse situation. So she wants me to come out to a show. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if I'm going to go, but just kind of getting more involved in my family's life and taking a backseat. That's kind of what's going on with my life right now.
Yeah, family's always interesting. I get to meet my nephew for the first time. He's almost a year old, or maybe because my brother, one of my brothers lives in Florida, in Tampa, and he's a doctor and doesn't get much time off.
My sister's a doctor too. So
he has no time off. So he's actually come to the family vacation next week. So I get to meet my nephew. So it'll be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a few years because of the whole doctor thing.
No, I understand.
But yeah,
I commiserate with you on that 100%.
We send each other memes and give each other a hard time. We have like me and my brothers have like a group text thing that we go on, and usually it's either Star Wars memes or like 4th of July. We thank Will Smith and for all his hard work and saving us from the aliens, all those years ago.
How many brothers do you have? 2?
I have 2.
Oh,
2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just 3 boys. No sisters, just my 2 brothers. So yeah.
Oh, your mother. Woo! 3 boys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I already spoke for Chris. So Chris' personal life is he's not here. Next
busy.
time, guys. Yeah, he'll be back next time. So yeah. You guys ready to jump right in?
Let's do it.
All right, chapter 9, plans. And we got that sunburst symbol. That means white cloaks. And we're in Paige and Niall's point of view. So yay.
Typically I haven't been excited about white cloak chapters, but it's obviously becoming more and more important in how they're intertwined with everybody else. So I wouldn't say I was excited when I saw this, but there was some good meaty parts to this chapter.
Oh, sure. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So we start with, I guess it's Omerna relaying information to Paige and Niall. Start out talking about the Illuminators wishing to relocate into basically white cloak territory, Pedro Niles kind of like whatever. He's not really interested. He's like, I don't care about eliminators. Like, like who cares? Get to the more important stuff. And they're kind of just going through the Dragon Sworn, and it's kind of a report. And you're learning. You hear some of these names again, like Matt and Stephaneus, who he's the king of Ilion. And apparently he's ready to join Nile. So yeah, a couple of reports there. So I mean, what's your initial thoughts on these, Ian? Your thoughts on when you heard all this?
So as this chapter's unfolding, I'm thinking about Rand and his focus, and it's been on all the Forsaken, and he wants to unite the world and get everybody behind him, for the big last battle thing. But I'm trying to think back. I don't think he's really paying too much attention to the other people players in the world. I guess he just kind of assumes as he knocks out a Forsaken, whoever they were kind of controlling will now be his. But there hasn't been a whole lot of concern about the White Cloaks. And like I mentioned, and we'll get into more in this chapter, it's about to get very complicated. I don't think there's going to be an easy battle that he can win and be like, aha, now the White Cloaks are following me. It's getting really messy really quick. Yeah. And so now looking at it from the White Cloaks perspective, they think they have to unite the world and unite against Rand, and he's going around collecting people and alliances and whatnot. So this is going to get interesting, but it's inevitable, right? Let's look at, I mean, you could think of a bazillion examples, but one I was thinking of was The Walking Dead. Wake up one morning, there's zombies everywhere. Well, you can only have 1 or 2 seasons where you're just focused on fighting the zombies, right? Eventually, like in order to keep it interesting, you run into the people problem, and it's less about the zombies and the people fighting each other sort of thing. So I feel like we're transitioning to that,
Yeah.
I find the White Cloaks have this wonderful superpower, and it's not even something they want, it's a thing they don't want, but they have in spades, is that everybody just ignores them and lets them be. They're allowed to just do by the Aes Sedai, by Rand, by of all of the ruling kingdoms everywhere. At Amadicia, obviously, just lets them do whatever. But it's very interesting how over the course of time, the White Cloaks have grown into this force now that everyone has just kind of allowed it to happen, right?
Yeah. But they don't really like them, though. Like they're a little afraid of them. Everybody gives them their room. But you're right. They just let it happen.
There they are. Anyway.
Yeah. I guess the report eventually gets to Rand himself, because definitely Niall's interested in Rand. And, and it reports about he's been in reliable sources in multiple places at once. And he says, obviously, that's just tower trickery. You have multiple Rand puppets or something like that. And, it's not. He doesn't even think Rand's really a Chandler. He doesn't think it's Dragon Reborn. Just thinks it's all just made up by some White Tower farce.
Yeah. So this is one of the areas I wish I would have had time to like reread a couple of times or listen a couple of times. It got a little confusing because whoever's perspective is like just accepting all these things as being true, like all the rumors as being true, and there's all these wild rumors. I mean, this person's just an idiot. And I don't think Pedro Niles an idiot. So he wasn't the one assuming all this stuff is true, right? He was the one just receiving the receiving the info. Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. He's
this reporter is garbage. So,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's like, by the way, can we like do fireworks and shit? Like, why not? We're the White Cloaks. Pow! We got this big sunburst. Looks like firework. I mean, let's
Let's get some fun.
Be kind of cool if we did.
Yeah. Be a lot cooler if we did.
Yeah. And so then Niall dismisses him and calls in Balwar, who's his secretary, who is like he's not, the one guy is kind of like the guy gets the reports. Balwar's the guy that gets all the rumors. He gets reports as well, but he seems a lot more thorough, a lot more put together than the first guy. He comes in and says, I've heard multiple rumors, and he goes and talks about, I guess it's 3 or was it 4? I can't remember how many it was, but there's a few rumors that he had heard, and he's going on about what's happening.
Now, is he the one who was swearing that Morghese was dead right up until the point someone showed him Morghese, or was that the last guy?
Yeah, you make me go to the book.
See, I told you would need to be more detailed. Like I went through these chapters
second.
enough to be dangerous.
1 second. We're gonna all look together.
Right. And it didn't help that he talked to like multiple people. Now I'm like, wait a minute, who said what?
Let's see.
Myrna.
Okay.
It's Myrna. Myrna had been an adequate commander in the field so long as someone told him what to do. But in his present position, his credulous stupidity was trying. I thought that was funny. I saved that line. I'm gonna use that with you, Alan, when you're getting dark friendly. You say, your credulous stupidity is trying, Alan. And he had reported Morghese dead, her corpse seen and identified beyond doubt, up to the very day that Niall brought him face to face with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Wait. So is that this guy? Is this the second guy now? Or was that?
No, that's Myrna was the first guy. Second guy is Bauer.
So I was right. That first guy was a moron.
Yes.
He was worthless. Gotcha.
He's horrible.
All right.
Yeah. So, he comes, Bauer comes in, talks about Shan Chen, men riding strange beasts, flying creatures, and Aes Sedai unleashes. Also gives reports that says the sea folk are gathering, but we don't know why. He says, and also the Ogier are meeting, but he says we can't get a spy in there. There's no way we can get it. The Ogiers make horrible spies. They won't spy themselves. There's no way convincing an Ogier to spy for them.
Right.
And they said the same thing about the sea folk, is that as the Ogiers, like no one knows why they're doing this. They're just sitting there just waiting, like no cargo. They're not taking on anything. They're just sitting in port waiting for something. So I was gonna ask you, what do you think the sea folk are waiting for, and what do you think the Ogier are meeting about?
Read and find out, Alan. Wait, hold on.
No
let me go back to my line. Alan, your credulous stupidity is trying. Clearly, we will get to it when we get to it.
Rayfo, read and find out.
All right, so the sea folk, they've caught wind of Rand in a positive way back when some of our female heroes were traveling with them. So what exactly are they waiting for? I mean, that could be dependent on like what the rest of their prophecy says. Maybe they're waiting for something specific. Maybe they're just waiting for an opportunity to connect with Rand. Or maybe part of their prophecy says that Rand will poof out of the sky and visit them. Hard to tell. Don't know.
Okay.
The Ogier, I really have no idea.
Yeah.
But I am excited about them getting involved, like in masses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know they're generally like peaceful people, but like they also seem like the type of people where there is a line, if you cross, they will stand in defense, sort of thing. And the way this world is getting more and more chaotic, maybe we're getting to that point. So are they just going to help people build defenses? Are they going to get actively involved?
Yeah.
Rand is starting to obsess with the ways again and fixing them. So is he going to, use Ogier for that? I don't know.
Yep. And I did jump ahead. It was Balwer who gave the report about Rand being in multiple places at once, not Omanera. So Omanera did talk about Rand as well, but just briefly, and had no really idea what he was talking about.
I want to talk about one thing specifically they mentioned in this chapter, but I'm going to wait to see if Alan brings it up about what something Niall says. That's the thing that really grabbed me, so I'll wait.
Oh, okay. I probably won't. If I already skipped over it, then I probably won't.
No, I don't think we'll come to it yet. It's at the end. I just checked. I just checked.
And if we go past, I don't know if you know this, but we'll go way past something and then jump back. So, and that's totally acceptable.
Okay.
Straight lines and linear is not a thing that we do on this podcast.
I love it. I'm vibing with that.
I've been known to start with the end of the chapter sometimes, just because why not, right?
Why not?
Mix it up. Yeah.
I want to talk about this now. So he said the most disturbing report though was that obviously the tower had split, but that
you talked about it.
The rebel tower, it's found the Reds had coerced Logain to become the dragon, and Pedro now definitely classed onto that information, saying, interesting."
Yeah. Pedro Niel definitely seems to have a different thought process about Aes Sedai than other White Cloaks, doesn't he? Like he definitely he talks about the Black Aja as something that is, you know, a thing, and he waited for Balwar to see if he would have a response to that, because a White Cloak saying that is just preposterous, because all White Cloaks believe they're witches, so a Black Aja would be irrelevant to someone like a blasphemous even for a White Cloak to think. But Pedro
A
Niel's
witchy
like,
bitch.
yeah, no, the real bad guys are the Black Aja, and then but Balwar didn't say anything. He just remained stalwart and just listened, which I think is very interesting for Pedro Niel to admit aloud to someone else. So I think it's interesting that we have that point of view of Pedro Niel as a White Cloak. So most don't have that. They're very one-track minded. All Aes Sedai are witches, and that's the end of the line. Saying that there's a Black Aja within witches is just, it's a different concept that they even is written that most wouldn't grasp. I really like that.
Yeah. Well, the position Pedro Niel is in, though, having someone give you a report like the first guy is absolutely useless. The guy shows up and he's already like forming conclusions on so many things, and he's filling in blanks and he's doing it wrong and he's making assumptions. The second guy just seems to stick to the facts. This is what the rumor is. I'm not drawing a conclusion from it. This is what's being said. This is what's being reported from here. This is what we hear from here. And a leader like Pedro Niel needs to have somebody like that. And so revealing that little blip about yada yada Black Aja, that could be him kind of testing the boundaries of that relationship, or like how open and free can you and I be with the information that we're gathering. And not that I'm rooting for the White Cloaks, but you know, for Pedro Niel to be an effective leader in this ever-changing world with all this shit happening, he needs resources like that could just deliver the facts without making shit up or jumping to conclusions, or you know.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, this is not really spoilery, but Pedro Niel is considered one of the great commanders. Like they have several great captains, or I guess they're commanders. And like Davin Bashir's one, Gareth Bryn's one. I think there's 5 total. But Pedro Niel is one of them, and that this next line kind of hints to that, where he, is pondering the information. He looks up all the banners of all the nations that have come against him, and he's like, few have even tried to fight him. No one twice. Hardly any of them once. But never twice. The single nation was able to defeat him in battle. But pretty good general as far as having a good track record, where all these banners have conquered peoples that he's beat them in battles.
Right.
Well, he's no dummy. He's no dummy.
At that point, he might have lost a little skirmish or battle here and there, but never twice. Learns. You could say learns from his mistakes, but a lot of times somebody that's that smart when it comes to leading soldiers, if they make a bad decision, it's usually because they just didn't have enough information. And then I go back to this second guy, why having someone like that or people like that you can have very frank conversations about what the facts are is so important. So,
yeah. And after that, he takes his eyes off the banners, and that's when he goes into the whole Black Aja talk. He goes, well, the tower's really split. Then we can spin it to say the Black Aja rose up and took the tower, and that the witches in Saladar have left their oaths of being Aes Sedai, and they're no longer going to be witches, and they can spin it in a way where they might be able to align with some of them. He's looking for outs and ways to, I guess, politic his way around this.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that as a White Cloak, he's even willing to consider any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. It struck me, and it with those simple lines, it creates an entire new panoply of thought with Pedro Niel. You're like, okay, he's operating on a whole other level than the men that he commands. And in a way, my thought then is okay, the men that he commands are not going to be probably cool with the thought of aligning with even outcast witches. So it's going to be interesting to see how Pedro Niel tasks his men, who may think very vehemently opposite him, how he's going to task them to perform these activities. So it's going to be interesting.
Now, being that this is Wheel of Time, I feel dumb saying this, but if he communicates the reasons why really well to his men, it shouldn't be a problem. Right now, the tower's divided. They know it's divided. If they go on a full assault attacking all Aes Sedai, female Aes Sedai, he might unite them again in the war against the White Cloak. When your enemy is divided, you either sit back and watch them fight it out, or if you want to speed things up, you find a way to infiltrate different groups, divide them more, or just choose a side and let them, you and them whack the other side, and then you have either a partnership power, or you can then whack the other people. But you don't just full on attack all of them and then risk uniting them again. That would be ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
So also, let's go back. You made a comment about one of the reports was of Logain talking about how the Reds essentially made him become what he became.
Right.
Didn't we get that information in the last chapters?
We did.
And it was from Logain, like doing his campfire stories.
Yep.
So now we have, how are we getting that information from there, which you would think would be relatively secure, this quickly to our White Cloaks here? So.
Oh, do tell.
I mean, this is a problem. Or maybe not a problem. I mean, it's anyway. Well, actually, no, it's going to be a problem no matter how you slice it.
So do you think there's spies in Saldara for the White Cloaks? I mean, there has to be, right?
If not for White Cloaks, maybe. I mean, even if it's Black Aja, they could be leaking information. I mean, so much politicking could be happening. Who knows what side people are on? But certainly someone is sending off information from there, and it's not good.
No.
And I'm so torn. Like part of me wants like Morghese and Elaine to quickly unite. But then if they quickly unite, are they going to have to unite against Rand because of like the situation Morghese is in? And that wouldn't be fun. I don't know. I don't know what I want to happen. I want Morghese to run away, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and the conversation does change to Morghese. Press Morghese a month has passed. And, Bauer wants to, get more into that and figure out how to, because they start talking about Galad and Gawain, and he wants to find a lane. There's lots of things going on here. I mean, they have lots of plans. So, I don't know how structured his plans are yet, but it's definitely has a lot of information. He's definitely making some moves. I mean, he tells us to start a rumor about the Black Aja and start some rival patterns that might have further implications.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in chess. You have opening moves, and they're not dramatic or drastic. You just kind of slide upon here or there and see how the rest of the board reacts. So I kind of feel like in many ways that's what he's doing here. I like Pedro Niles' response about the whole pressing Morghese thing.
Yeah.
If he didn't have the time, yes, it would make sense to kind of force her into some sort of situation or allegiance to him. But he has time. So what he said about letting it be her decision, and those around her that follow her make it very believable that it's her decision, to kind of partner up with him. That's way more beneficial than, all right, she follows me because I'm cracking the whip. And then you can never really fully trust that relationship because at the first opportunity, they would dip on you or turn on you. So he's got the time. Why not, slowly bring her into the fold and let her think it's her idea? No. That's right. A much stronger bond.
Yeah. True.
So, he's playing chess, man.
Playing either that or he's just like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny.
I mean, it's all kind of making sense to me.
Yeah.
He's working with what he's got, and he knows he doesn't have all the correct information. So, cautious baby moves, kind of feeling out.
Yeah.
What's happening.
You don't hate him here. You can't hate him.
I know. See, I started the White Cloak chapter, and I was like, man, the White Cloak, man. And then I keep reading him like, but this guy's all right.
I don't hate him right here.
I wouldn't mind having a beer with this dude and talking to him a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't hate him.
Agreed.
And then we switch over to Morghese, and she's traveling with our favorite friend, Pater. She's not traveling. She's hanging out with Pater.
This
they're not
guy.
traveling. Yeah.
This guy.
Pater, our favorite dark friend.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're just talking about what their next plan is going to be, and so forth. When I guess they start talking about Galad eventually. I guess does Niall come in here, or is it?
Yeah, they talk about Glad some.
Yeah, some of the ladies are
Towards
speaking
the
of
end.
Galad. That's what. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big thing I think from this section. Was that
What? Not
okay?
even close to the biggest thing.
Okay, what do you think the biggest thing?
Morgaze also, we give Pedro Nile all this credit. We have to give her some credit too.
Okay.
Okay. She has a couple of major focuses right now. Like one is her kingdom, but I don't even think that's near as important as her family and her children.
Mhm.
So she's trying to put herself in her position, yes, where she get her kingdom back, but she wants to be able to protect her children as well
Sure.
until she's able to have more control over that situation.
Mhm.
She's probably realizing that she's stuck where she's at, or maybe there's going to be value in aligning officially with the White Cloaks, but
Mhm.
she doesn't want to do it in such a way where Pedro Nile and some of the higher ups have absolute power over her. So
Right.
even in this group, like there's a little back and forth where she's talking shit about Pedro Nile and everybody else is like, oh, but think about it. Like if she keeps doing this little by little and like small casual comments, and then they get more comfortable with it, and then they start in their own mind,
Mhm.
maybe questioning that leadership some, she might be able to, at the very least, have some people on the fence
Yeah.
instead of full on in, White Cloak brainwash territory.
Right.
So she is also playing the long game here.
She is.
They
you
might
think
still
she-
end up uniting, but she might end up coming into this relationship with a lot more power than Pedro Nile wants her to have,
Yeah.
or might even
Do you-
suspect that she does have.
Would you trust the White Cloak Army?
You can trust the White Cloaks to be White Cloaks. And Morgaze is, that's a very valuable lesson that I've learned the hard way. Trusting people doesn't mean like you trust them to be loyal to you. You trust them to be who they are. So you need to pay attention to what their character is.
Right.
And Morgaze, I feel, is smart enough to do that. She's been running a kingdom for a while. She seems pretty wise. So can she trust the White Cloaks? I think there are things that she thinks she can get them to do, and she
Mhm.
can trust that, but she probably knows that there's limitations to what kind of power or influence she can have.
Mhm.
So again, we ain't playing checkers here, Alan.
Yep.
It's what was it? Your credulous stupidity. Let me go back to this. I gotta bookmark that one.
You do.
Use that a few more times.
Yeah. So and so she's talking about how to take back Camelin. Obviously, Rand's there. She's wondering about the different houses and whether they'll support her if she comes back, especially with the
Mhm.
White Cloak Army. There's a lot of politicking to go on here. As well, your son is a White Cloak as well, and she's like,
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. I don't. Pedro says he's safe, but I know he can put him in harm's
Right.
way. I don't think he would. He doesn't think that Pedro Knight would kill him, but would definitely might put him somewhere where he would be as good as dead. Put him in a
Right.
Right.
battle.
And what she's saying is, oh, that kid, I don't really care about that kid.
Yeah, it's not really
But
my kid.
I don't think she really believes that.
Yeah.
Maybe she cares about Elaine and Gawain.
It's her
more
kid
for
through
whatever
marriage.
reason. Right.
Yeah.
But I think again, the type of character she is, I think she feels a responsibility there. So her saying that is more so to protect him. Hopefully
Right.
that rumor gets around that she doesn't give two shits, so then he won't be used against her.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's pretty
Yeah.
slick.
Yeah. And she's not too happy about Rand, displaying the Lion Throne.
Lion Throne, right? It seems
Yeah.
like that Rand is just kind of how was described to her, like it was like holding it hostage, or like saying that he's like displaying the fact that he's sitting on the Lion Throne as a man.
that
Oh
the quote
my
is,
goodness!
yeah, the quote is, "I hear Randall Thor displays the Lion Throne as a trophy from a hunt."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just
Yep.
that would boil my blood a little bit. I think that was intended to see. That was carefully barbed to see what
Yeah.
her reaction to that would be.
And a
Yeah.
lot of this is, these are like different ladies just like trying to throw daggers.
Yeah.
They're all feeling each other out here, and
Yes.
and her. This is where I start to get worried. I don't see a really simple way of this unfolding. Like she's clearly not happy with what Rand's doing, given the information she's being given. So that's just going to push her more towards White Cloak. She's even considering like, do I trade Rand and what he's done there for, this rescue party full of White Cloaks? Maybe that's better. And I'm not too excited about that.
Right. And we didn't mention what they're actually doing. They're out falconing.
Oh yeah.
The leisure activities.
The
of
leisure
the noble
activity.
class, the bourgeoisie.
Did you guys see my post that apparently when they want to breed the falcons, they don't just put them in a cage and let them scrump. They wear these special hats that the male falcons will land on their head and hump. And then they collect the falcon semen and they inseminate the female falcons. So there's falcon hump hats that they wear and just...
Imagine that person's job. It's like, okay, I'm going to wake up this morning and I'm going to help procreate the species. And this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to punch in and I'm going to wear the hat.
And as they're preparing the hat, I could just see him looking at it and be like, oh, yeah, he's going to love this. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna put this little vibrating piece here and ding, ding, ding.
Anyways.
And like, do you call him and walk outside? Caw-caw!
Ribbed for their pleasure.
Have you ever seen a falcon or hawk take out an animal? Like,
no, but I've.
It's violent.
Were we playing disc golf together, frisbee golf, when a squirrel got taken out by a falcon or a hawk?
One of the two. I don't remember which. I just remember it was violent.
It was very violent. It was an eagle or hawk. It was a big bird of prey, and a squirrel just ran across the field, frolicking, and
not a baby moment, not a Disney moment.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, they use their speed to. I don't know what I thought prior to that. Like they casually creep up behind them and with their claws go, slice, I got you, and then gently fly away. No, they use that speed, just like the impact is just bam, and the animal's like, what's going on? And crunch, Yeah.
Craziness.
Circle of life.
Yeah. So then they decide to go back to the city. They're done falconing for the day. And Morghese turns to Gil and Norwin to have a conversation just about.
I like Gil.
Basil Gil. Everybody loves Basil Gil. It's a great innkeeper.
He's a loyal dude.
He's a good guy.
They speak about the Dragon Reborn and the people joining or fleeing him. And she's, I guess we kind of end this chapter with her. She walks past, I guess, these two people with dirt all on their faces, and thinks about whether Rand's taking care of Andor. How are the people doing? She's thinking about the people of Andor, not necessarily her throne. That's what everybody else is trying to push her to. It's like, oh, look what you did to the throne. She's really wants to know about her people, which says a lot about a queen. She cares. Not a lot of leaders do.
But so being that we're reading The Lord of Chaos, the response, where these refugees from? Well, they're refugees of the dragon. And she's like, well, he's nowhere near here. So why is this happening? And now if this is true, the response of, just his presence and what he's doing in the world is turning everything upside down, and bonds are being broken, and men are leaving their wives are leaving their husbands. Like, people that used to serve lords are just like, fuck it, deuces, I'm out of here. And everything's coming unraveled. That could just be another little sprinkling, another hint of our title here of what's happening. So up until this point, we thought we had some relatively clear divisions. And like I said, let's go take these Forsaken out one at a time. But then, now we're looking a little deeper in what the White Cloaks are doing and intertwining with Morghese and one of her sons, and who are they going to align with, the Tower or like the Tower 2.0? It's just getting very complicated and
getting more political.
And people that you can't assume any person that had, any lord that was like, oh, I have 1,000 spears that will follow me. Well, that's not a guarantee anymore. Half your spears might have just said, fuck it, I'm going upriver because whatever, it's Dragon Day. Yay, we can do what we want.
Exactly. So, the title of the chapter was Plans. What do you think the White Cloaks' plan are? Do you think they're going to lead Morghese back to Caemlyn, or do you think they have bigger fish to fry and they're not really going to... care about what Gaze does, or what do you think their plan is?
Right now, Patron
their
Nile
next move?
seems to be positioning.
Okay.
I keep going back to chess, but when I'm playing against somebody that's as good or better than me, sometimes the best move are the moves that just give you the most options. And I feel that's what he's doing. He's like slowly moving pieces that, build his power a little bit. And maybe if at that point in time, going to Camelin is going to help him, he might do it. But I mean, I don't think he's just going to do it just for Mergase's sake and for the sake of Camelin. He's only going to do it if it helps him in the grand scheme, the bigger battle against Rand.
So we end this chapter with a couple things about the White Cloaks. Let's just, like you say, do the facts. Pedro Nial is one of the great 5 commanders of the world. Pedro Nial has a spy network that is nothing to sneeze at now that Balwer is in his employ. He's got some information that he can use to his advantage before other people on the ground are. He's got a queen. He's got the Queen of Andor kind of in his potential, not really a captive, but yet not at the same time. He's leveraging his influence on the Queen of
He's
Andor.
massaging that relationship. Yeah.
Correct. And he also has one of the Queen of Andor's sons in his employ as well. So what we're doing is we're seeing the White Cloaks evolve from something that was kind of laughed at to maybe being a silent power play. Also, another thing, like I said at the beginning, never ever underestimate the White Cloaks' ability to just be left alone to their own devices as they plot and scheme while everyone else is picking bigger battles with each other, and they can just, like you say, play chess and move pieces. That is a huge strength because the eye knows that they're there, but they're like, oh, gee, they're just White Cloaks, whatever. And that's a huge advantage to, really trying to put yourself on the board, because you can have all your pieces aligned before anyone realizes what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times
it just shows
the chess. Yeah, going to chess analogy, what's the most important piece on the board?
The queen or the king.
The pawn. The pawn is your most important piece.
That sets up everything.
Pawns are so important.
That's how you force the other player to move.
That's how you set traps, is with pawns. Pawns are so important.
I'm not a big chess player.
People always think they're cannon fodder, and they kind of are. But they're if you know how to play pawns, oh man, that gives you such an up on the game. People don't realize pawns are important.
So I mean, to your point, prior to this chapter and starting out, it's like I said, I was like, oh, White Cloak chapter, meh, who cares about this? And then I finished the chapter, and I'm like, guys, everybody needs to care about the White Cloaks. Pay attention to what the White Cloaks are doing.
Yeah.
So that switched up on me pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully Rand figures it out.
Definitely. So anything we missed, or any questions you got, Jen, for Ian, or any?
No, the one thing I wanted to cover, the thing that really shocked me, is having a White Cloak say, oh yeah, the Black Aja, there is a Black Aja, and that means the other people can't be. If one is, that means the other by default isn't. So that was a big reveal. I haven't heard any White Cloak just express that before. So that was very interesting to me, and it shows a lot about kind of what the White Cloak Force is. And I really like the writing here, where in one chapter, like Ian says, you just go from White Cloaks to White Cloaks.
Oh,
White Cloaks.
White Cloaks.
So it's very interesting. It's kind of a longer chapter, but a lot is made of them in a one, like a couple, or actually not one, but 2 or 3 different conversations.
Yeah. And you think of White Cloaks normally as like very flat characters where they're just kind of like one-track mind. And Patron L is definitely a lot more dense, a lot more dynamic character, and has a lot more thought process going in.
He's not as close-minded. Which you would think a leader of that type of group would be the one that's just like preaching this, like this is absolutely what we believe, and this can exist and that can't exist. And he's not. He's letting that talk happen around him, but he's more open-minded in accepting these new facts as they come in. And
it'll be interesting. It's interesting to say, like, or it'll be interesting to see how he reacts with different audiences too.
I'm sure he's smart enough to mix it up.
Yeah.
I could see. I won't necessarily make this a prediction, but we've had wild divisions in every group of people that we've run into so far. So why not the White Cloaks? And down the line, Pedro Nile might be the one that could be convinced that a partnership with Rand or something like that could be of value. And of course, because you have all these diehards, that's certainly going to divide the White Cloaks, and there's going to be a bunch that turn on him. But he might be somebody that leads at least a small group of White Cloaks in the other direction. Because like we said, as he learns new information and new facts, he's willing to change his mind on things.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if not in this book, somewhere down the line, if Rand's ever going to unite the world, we need people to do that.
Yeah.
Or die,
Yeah. You guys ready for the next chapter?
Yay!
Yeah, this is the more fun chapter. At least I think. I enjoyed this chapter.
Yeah.
I do too.
Chapter 10, A Sane in the Borderlands. One of the best sayings. And we've heard the saying before, but this really gets highlighted. But yeah. So start with Rand. He's walking through the halls of the royal palace of Camelin. He's with Bashir and Bale, the super tall Aiel chief, and an assortment of maidens and some Saladian soldiers. Bashir's personal guard, pretty much. And he's just going through like kind of administrative duties of the day, take care of Arnor, run through his mind of all the different things he has to do as Bashir and Bale are trying to talk to him. So that's kind of how we start.
I think my favorite part is so Rand is also getting reports from some of his top people about like what's the rumors, what's happening, what's going on. But what's the Aiel guy again? Bale. So it kind of cracked me up. Like they're back and forth, and Bashir says something, and I guess Rand looks to him to confirm. And he's like, "Well, Bashir, you get better information than us for some reason. The people just don't want to talk to us." And I could imagine like the Aiel constantly looking like they're ready to chop somebody's head off or stab somebody with a spear, and they're like, "Why won't you talk to me?
Why don't you talk to me?
Tell me things."
It's like a big intimidating Russian dude, all serious, like, "I want to be friends."
Yes.
Okay.
We are friends now. Sit down. Let's discuss events.
Tell me
what's
everything.
happening. That made me giggle.
We're friends now, da? Yeah.
Yeah.
Da.
Yeah. Da.
Yeah. Da.
Da.
But yeah. Fuck.
That's all I know.
Yeah, and Rand's thinking, at least Luce Theron's mind's on his head. I guess Taim taught him a trick, kind of get that out. It's kind of working. He's talking about little tricks he's learned about, like staying or not feeling the temperature and things like that, and kind of display, coolness, kind of like Aes Sedai do, like where he stays completely level-headed no matter what the outside surroundings are doing. And he's really practicing that. And I think at one point he starts laughing because he starts thinking about, the Aes Sedai doing that. And he's like, has he ever seen one of them sweat? And he goes, and he roughly starts laughing. And Bashir's like, "What, did I say something funny?"
I like Bashir.
And of course the Aiel is like,
him.
it's like, "I'm trying to understand his wetland humor. What's funny? What's
Have you guys already, because I don't remember, got to the point in this, if you haven't, it's not spoilers, where Rand tries to tell a joke to the Aiel and it doesn't land very well? Oh, okay. Yeah. That was a really good scene about the rooster or whatever. Oh god.
It still makes no sense to me.
Okay,
Chris tried to explain it to me and it's just not funny.
It was funny to see him try, not the joke itself.
Yeah.
Like the joke bombed, but it was funny. God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so this, one, I am notorious for when I'm bored with what's going on in the room, just having conversations in my head. And if that leads to something funny, I will just laugh. And then people look at me like I'm crazy. But
I do that too.
Whatever. I might be a little bit, so I don't care. But Rand, it's funny, like he's had moments where inside his brain, he's battling Luce Theron inside his head, and he legit is going crazy. And I guess sometimes it's spilled out so people have seen it, and that'll kind of question his sanity, but many times it hasn't. And this time, this is a moment where I don't think it's a him going insane moment,
no.
But he clearly laughs at something that was in his head that wasn't said out loud.
Yeah.
So now people can look at him like, wait, what? What the hell's wrong with you? But this seems like a more normal.
I'm even worse about it. So rather than be in my head and me laughing, I'll just think of something and I'll say it out loud, and then laugh, and no one else in the room gets it because it's like an obscure movie quote or something like that.
Right.
And
they missed the first half of the
had to be there.
conversation that was in your head.
Yeah.
Right. So they didn't get the lead up to it.
No, I'll do obscure movie quotes all the time. Like we'll be in the middle of a sales meeting at work or something like that, and like I'll quote Glenn Ross, which is like it's a great movie. Actually, not really. It's a great speech. One scene's a great scene in the movie, but like a lot of people haven't seen the movie because it's not that famous of a movie. Most people haven't seen it, but I'll quote it all the time, and like most people haven't seen it, so they have no idea what I'm talking about. And I sit there start laughing, and everybody's like looking at me like, "Why do you think that's funny?" Like, like yeah, we're gonna have a new program. We're gonna have some prizes for people that win. I was like, yeah, so steak knives, and they're like, what? I'm just like cracking up laughing.
And you're done.
It's for you. Yeah.
And they're like, obscure movie quotes, yay. It's
I
not really
like that. They're always more fun. I don't want the person that's all right, blah blah blah, like that. Like
yeah.
That's not my kind of person. Just even talk to. Just be friends with.
It's not that great of a movie, but it's actually based on a play, and it's done like a play. But it's a great speech. Alec Baldwin's in it and has a fantastic speech in it. But yeah. Anyway,
I'm gonna have to YouTube that one in a bit. Wait, so this might be a good time to do it. Dare we compare Rand to Pedro and Niall at this point? I mean, both chapters. Well,
yes.
Jordan kind of opens up both chapters the same way with each one of these leaders getting their morning report or whatever. And Pedro and Niall, like we just talked about how wowed we were by him and his chess moves and what he's doing with this info and what he's planning. Meanwhile, Rand is getting info from this gigantic Aiel that's like, no one will tell me anything. And he's getting some good stuff from Bashir, but instead of like processing and making plans, he's like, to Aes Sedai sweat.
What I'm imagining is Bashir in his bow-legged walk, like because of the side, his always professionally being on a horse. Yeah. And it's like, if you've ever seen that, because I have, it's a very interesting walk. And then next to this like huge, gigantic Aielman, and they're both just kind of like hanging out. And then you have Rand. It looks like he's like kind of part of it, but like dressed in all his finery. It would be they would be a sight to behold on the street.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Everyone would turn to look, be like.
It seems like they're going through the motions where Pedro and Niall was doing it. Rand and them are kind of playing pretend here. It's just
Yeah, and he's getting some reports as well, you know, as far as there's just fighting amongst the borderlands, and he's thinking about Saldea and Bashir. He's like, well, you left, you know, your entire country, and are they infighting? Are they fighting between each other? Like, that's not good. I mean, will Bashir leave me? You know, he's thinking about, I think he's going through these things, and it kind of moves to the Two Rivers as well. It's like, well, you know, I abandoned my people too. I abandoned the Two Rivers, and I heard there's some stuff out there, and hopefully everything's okay. But then again, you know, he starts thinking about, you know, what would happen if he went, and you know, he's like, oh, you know, probably it's for the best I didn't.
2 hours later, no, I'm playing later on in the chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually get to the point where they talk about there's Aes Sedai in the city.
Yeah. Well, this certainly sparks Rand's interest in trying to run them down. Not like run them down the evil way, but obviously make contact and figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah. So he decides, you know, hey, well, let's go check it out. So they walk out into the city, and you know, describes the Ogre city and then the new city, and they make their way to the inn. And as soon as he walks to the door, he's like, wait, I recognize everybody in here. Wait, these are all Two Rivers people. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah. I didn't see this one coming. So this was interesting. But then all of the things he was worried about, it just immediately jumped to my head. You know, what's the saying? Like, you know, I'm paraphrasing, a prophet can't be a prophet in his like hometown. Like no one will ever believe him. So like, yes, he's Rand walking in there, and to all these girls, he's Rand, but he's not Rand anymore. I mean, I guess he is, but he's the dragon. And this is just going to be a shocker moment for these people.
He's not He's not sheep herder Rand from the Two Rivers. He's Rand the Dragon Reborn.
Right. But it still hasn't been that long.
A year and a half.
Time. It's So you and I have gone, like, especially when I first joined the army and, Germany, Iraq and everything. And, after 2 years come back and a little bit has changed in our life, but you were still Alan and I was still Ian. It wasn't that big of a difference. This is a huge difference. He's a totally different person. He might as well change his name.
Yeah.
Not even close to the same. And so how are they going to react to that?
So he goes in and sees, Bode immediately, or Bodwin, Matt's little sister, and goes, and Bodwin immediately goes and asks, where's Matt? Is Matt with you? How's Matt doing?
Yeah.
How's he doing? And, he's like, well, Matt's fine. He's not here.
He's fine.
He's fine. No, don't worry.
Yeah.
And they keep on saying Lord Perrin. And finally, Rand stops me. Like, why do you keep on saying Lord Perrin? Like, it's just Perrin.
Wait,
like,
Lord?
Yeah, Lord.
And it just like, it's like he can't even get bits and pieces because it's just like there's a Trolloc attack and he's like, man, should I have been there? Like, I don't know. Like, this seems like a lot, but I guess Perrin saved the day and he's married to Fael now. I guess good for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
man, that was kind of a nice thought when like his POV on that is, it's nice that he's married.
Yeah. Congrats.
See,
you always have a better way with women. Yeah.
Perrin's so much better with girls.
Yeah. So much better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If only he were here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he finds out they're with Varen and Alana. He's like, well, he knows Varen well from when he was
everything.
From everything.
Well, he knows Varen. I don't know if anybody knows Varen well.
Okay, good point.
The more time goes by, these Browns, I don't know. It's not really a trust thing. It's just there's so much about them they keep to themselves that you don't know. You don't know what they know.
Yeah.
And I like
it
that
way.
I enjoy that.
And then
I'm a Brown.
Alana the Green, who, she didn't. I don't think had she met Rand before. Or maybe up at
Yeah, they were at. I'm thinking. Matt
she met Perrin
for the Blight.
Sorry,
before they went off to the Blight.
Yeah,
after they came back from the Blight, when
weren't they at Faldara together or no?
Yeah, I don't know if Alana was
at the.
I mean, if so, it wasn't a very significant interaction.
No,
it wasn't as much as Varen, because Varen was in the room with Moraine and Swan at Faldara.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then Varen chased him down and followed them for a little bit and met up with him, Kyrian. So Varen's definitely been in and out with Rand a bit. So
great hunt.
Yeah.
So obviously Rand knows Varen. And
I love how when they start talking to each other, all the girls in the room are like, holy shit, why is Rand talking to an Aes Sedai like that? But like, we know everything Rand's been through, and like, I could just see Rand looking at the Aes Sedai like, the fuck you doing here? Like, all right, you owe me some answers.
I hope mom and dad don't start fighting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's.
Where's God?
Everybody slowly backs away. Yeah. Oh god, this got really awkward. She's gonna fireball him, guys. Watch out.
So eventually, Varen and Alana do appear, and Rand starts to speak, and they're like, maybe you should go talk alone. So, they ask the innkeeper if they can go talk alone. They're like, yeah, here's a private room. So they go back there, and the first thing Rand asks is like, so are you taking the two Rivers girls to the rebels? And they not quite shocked, but they're definitely like, wait, what? You know this? And he goes, come on. I know a lot more than you think I know. Come on. Like, you don't have to drop the act. Like, where are you going? Are you going to Tarvalin? Are you going to the rebels? Like, and she's like, well, we just learned about that like yesterday. So
so they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do.
So we don't know what we're doing yet. And she's like, we don't even have all the information really about that. We just heard about it, that there's been a split in the tower. We've been away. Two Rivers probably doesn't get that much information. Surprise, surprise. So, yeah.
I think I was more surprised that Rand made it in the room with two Aes Sedai, and either he didn't insist that one or more of the maidens come with him, or they didn't insist that one of them come with him. Like, I know it was a tit for tat. Like, the Aes Sedai stood down their warders first. But still, I'm surprised. After everything that's happened, I'm surprised that the maidens were like, yeah, you can go in that room with these two Aes Sedai that could potentially harm you, and we'll just stay out here.
Yeah.
That threw me for a loop.
Rand's definitely suspicious though at first. I mean, he's definitely like a little jumpy. He's has his guard up completely. Luce Theron in his head doesn't even know what to think about it. He's kind of confused as well, and he's trying to talk to them. And Alana kind of says, hey, can I help you? I know you're a little injured. I can, be of some service. I won't hurt you. And Rand's kind of like, I guess, can't.
Yeah,
can't lie.
What harm? Yeah, what harm
She
could
can't
come
lie.
of this?
What harm? And then all of a sudden, it touches his head. All of a sudden, something happens, and Luce Theron starts panicking in his head, like what? And Rand immediately, what did you just do? He gets pissed.
It's a big moment. This is one of the
it's a big moment
in the series.
I didn't see it coming, but immediately your mind runs down all these rabbit holes of what the ramifications are.
Oh yeah, long term.
Yeah.
Although
we know bonds can be transferred, so I'm not totally freaking out.
Yeah,
but
I've also learned that you're not. But bonding without permission, we've also talked about that in previous chapters.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
That hadn't been. Yeah, it's a big no-no.
And I still don't know fully. We know warders that are bonded. There's a certain connection there, and they can sense each other, and they get some power from their Aes Sedai and everything. But how restrictive is this? Do they have to be in certain proximity of each other now? If she goes east and he goes west, is Rand going to be distracted by this longing for his Aes Sedai? Or will he just be drawn back to her? I mean, this could be horrible.
We can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently now, okay, so he starts to get pissed and he's starting to channel and everything. And he really could F these two ladies up.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. And
he realizes they're trying to shield him, and immediately throws that away and shields them. It's like, okay, no, listen to me. Don't fuck around. Stop now.
How much control does she have over him with this bonding, though? Was he able to do that because she kind of let it happen? Could she have restricted him more?
No, he's just the Dragon Reborn. Two Aes Sedai is he. That's okay. Yesterday's sausage. Yeah, no. Yeah. The thing is the sheer nerve of two Aes Sedai going, we're trying. Not only we're going to bond him, and then we're going to shield him. What are you're trying to shield the Dragon Reborn? Two Aes Sedai in a room. He's going to fight the.
They have been in the Two Rivers for a while.
He's battled Forsaken, and you're the two of us, we could definitely shield.
We got this.
Let's go. The audacity. You gotta admire the nerve, but it's not really smart. Thinking or forward thinking, because I just made him mad. He's already mad. Now you made him really mad.
Although I could see Varen being it was worth a try, and then take some notes real quick. Be that didn't work out. Okay, on to the next thing. Wait, that's in the past. Forget about it, Rand. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Bygones.
And during all this, he's demanding what you do to me, and said, "Oh, I just bonded you. It's not, I told you I wouldn't hurt you. I didn't hurt you. I didn't hurt you at all. No hurt. Just we bonded." And he's he starts thinking about it. I wish Lamb was here because I have no idea what a warder means. I met warders, but I don't even know what this all means. I don't know what the ramifications are. He doesn't even know.
My thing is that Alana did this knowing that he's going to be fighting the Dark One, and at some point will die relatively soon. So she knows that she's bonding a dead man walking. It's extremely interesting that she chose that. Okay, this guy's definitely the most in danger, but that's okay. That's cool.
I'm not in any position right now to give her any sort of credit for doing it. The lack of consent portion has me pretty pissed off about it.
Yes.
So I might get over that, seeing how this unravels. But as of right now, I'm pretty pissed off about it. If Rand would have gone zap and she exploded, I'd have been that seems like a reasonable response.
Yeah.
All right, moving on with the chapter.
Yeah. But yeah.
Wouldn't make for good
Fuck
storytelling.
around and find out. That's
Yeah, right. Varen jots down some more notes. Be like,
Very quickly. Well,
scratch that plan.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty big point in the series because it's definitely out of nowhere, and like you said, what are the ramifications of this?
Mhm.
What's going to happen now because of this? I'm sure your mind's racing as far as that. Probably have no idea, but
I mean, so are they going to keep this secret? Initially they say they are, but like, what happens when the Aiel find out? Is that going to cause, certain factions of the Aiel to be like, well, we're not going to follow you now? Is he now tainted because of it, because of his connection to the Aes Sedai? I don't know. I mean, I can't see how it's a positive thing right now. I'm sure there will be some positives, but
yeah,
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Well, he ends it with saying, well, fine, you did this, but stay away from me, as far away from me as possible. Don't get any close to me. I can feel where you are now. So don't dare come close to me ever again.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. Good job. Don't get near me anymore. And then he storms out of the room, comes out the common room, and Bodwin and Lorraine, two girls from Two Rivers, have been talking with Bashir, and they're like, this guy's been saying all these crazy things about you. He says you're the Dragon Reborn. And like Rand's like, yeah, because I am. Like, get over it.
And then he goes Darth Vader on him.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
You
can't do that shit, Rand.
Yeah, he force chokes him for sure.
Meanwhile, Bashir's like, that's a bit much, boss.
Yeah, you might want to
Cool back a little bit.
You might want to the violence on little girls. You might want to.
Right. If you let their feet touch the ground again, I think everybody would be okay with that.
You established your dominance in the room.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you have the floor. Now we can displays can go away now.
And I think
they are convinced.
His exact quote is, "I am the Dragon Reborn. Denying it won't change it. I am not the man you knew back in Emmons Field. Do you understand now? Do you?" And all the rest of the girls were all that weren't being lifted up were in the corner crying at this point. Trying to apologize, saying they're sorry, and quivering in the corner. And then Alana comes out, puts his hand on his shoulder, and says, "Let him down, please." Yeah. It's just
so that message that he was giving to these girls was an important one, but I do believe he could have gone about it a different way. That was
his nerves were a little upset by what just happened in the other room. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
Not justifying that's not, overreacting is never a good answer. But at the same time, I mean, I know you're upset and you come in and someone says something else. I mean, I apologize all the time for doing something like
proverbial straw.
Right. The proverbial straw. Like, I mean, I know how many times like I'm upset because something happened, and I come in and my kid does something. I'm like, listen, I'm not mad at you, but now is not the time to push the buttons. Let's just
But Rand has to be better than that. I mean, he can't go around half cocked, and this is part of this constant battle. Besides the whole lose thing and going crazy, like he's got to be in control of this somehow, and he definitely lost his cool there against like some of the most innocent people in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But they learned an important lesson and learned something very important about him.
Yeah.
I just hate the way it went down.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. He knows these people really well. He could have been like, oh, I know this girl really likes flowers, and go ploop, ploop, and like flowers, pop out of nowhere or something. And they go, oh my gosh, you are the dragon. And be like, yeah.
Or you can make a little table dance in the middle of the room and be like,
something like that.
Little
and
party
at the end, be like, and I've also killed thousands of people.
Or make a little firework that turns into butterflies, like Gandalf, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Instead, he hit him with the big dragon swooping down, terrifying him, and
Yeah.
And
our boy Rand has changed since chapter 1 on that road going into Emmons Field, hasn't he? My goodness.
A little bit.
And the maidens don't seem too happy about this either. They're giving flat looks like,
no,
come on, dude.
no, like we can't support this.
Yeah.
It's a little much. And Bashir's even quietly like, I think the quote is, yeah, it's what's done is done. Who knows? Perhaps it's for the best.
Yeah. Good old Bashir.
Good old Bashir.
I enjoy Bashir immensely. He's a good one. I like him.
Yeah. The Aiel, will march straight into the depths of hell and face death with you. That's great. But picking on little girls, bro, that's
bro.
Come on.
Nah.
Party foul.
Big
For
time.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not picking on, but picking up. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And ends with Rand kind of agreeing with Bashir. Maybe it is for the best. And he thinking maybe it's best he forgets about the two rivers altogether and just move on because that's not important.
Well, that's also not the right answer.
I'm not saying it is, but that's how kind of it. Yeah, it actually says.
Hopefully, he gets
best that he forgets the two rivers.
Hopefully, he gets a little time to process this, make his apologies, and try and find out some more about Perrin, or hopefully Perrin will show up soon.
Yeah, he wonders if the mountain will ever get lighter for a time, or only get heavier. Because duty is heavier than a mountain, but death is lighter than a feather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm 39. The shit keeps getting heavier. You just learn to live with it. At no point in my adult life has someone come by and be like, "Let me help you with that," and I will carry that a little. Nope.
No.
People walk by and go, "Fuck, take this and this, and carry that as well," and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah, which actually is a lot of people contribute to Robert Jordan. It's not actually an original Robert Jordan quote. I think it's either Taoist or Confucius. I have to look it up, but
yeah. Well, he dabbles in all those different things, and it influences quite a bit. So
yeah.
I finished reading Dune recently, and there are so many things. I mean, Robert Jordan did say that he took a lot of influence from Dune. I see that a lot. And the Aiel and the Fremen, the Bene Gesserit and the Aes Sedai. And there's a lot of other things as well. I do see that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't touched Dune in a while. I might need to go back and dabble some. When was the last time you read it, Alan?
Dune a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've never read all of them. I've only read the first three. I've read Dune, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune. I don't even know if that's in the right order. I know I've read those. I know I've read those three.
Yep. It's been a minute. Anywho.
Yeah. So, and that's how we end. So, I mean, there's a lot that happens in this chapter.
Kind of a downer moment there.
Yeah. But an important one. We have the Dragon Reborn bonded to a one Aes Sedai. I wonder if the other sisters, whether she goes to Saladar or whether she ends up back in the tower, whatever her choices will be, who knows. I wonder if the other sisters are going to find out if they do, and if they may try to use that she has a bond to Rand. I wonder. We're going to see.
That's gonna be a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she definitely needed boundaries are a thing. Non-consent is definitely not good. And yeah.
I'm hoping this little interaction with the Emmons Fielders. So I wasn't I hated that Rand's response was also the whole, maybe I should just forget Emmons Field altogether.
Yeah.
Instead, even go back to last chapter of me screaming in my head at the end, be like, pay attention to the White Cloaks. Like, maybe this will be an eye opener for Rand of, all right, I can't just be focused on the Forsaken. Like, that's important. Yeah. But as I'm doing this, everybody else in this world, they're making decisions. They're realizing important events are happening. They're going to go a certain direction, follow certain people. And I need to start influencing that as well. I mean, his goal isn't just to defeat the Forsaken. He also wants to unite everybody before the last battle. So that uniting everybody part, it's not enough just for him to fight his way to do that. He's got to start the politicking. He's got to pay attention to what people are doing all around the world and try to influence that. And this could have been a good wake-up call to that. Maybe it still will be, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what if half the Emmons Fielders, like half of them go to the tower, the other half go to the Rebel Aes Sedai, and then some of them stumble into a white cloak camp, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're gonna be white cloaks." And then as Rand's going around fighting all these people at one time or another, he's gonna like turn and be like, "Oh, Bobby Sue, holy shit, man, you live down the street from me." Like that's gonna suck.
It's gonna be like that meme. I am what you made me. I don't even know who you are. Like that whole thing. No, that's a joke. But honestly, yeah, people have strong opinions. I'm definitely seeing in the chat about Alana. We all do, because before this, she was relatively well liked. You, as a reader, were like, okay, the decisions that she did make, you understood, and she was kind to Egwene and was in the corner, especially during their ceremony where they got raised to accepted. She was there with them, helped them, and now it's like, what are you doing?
In the TV show, they made her out to be so nice too. I mean, she's in the Alana in the TV show. She's in a couple episodes, and she's
likable, smart, friendly.
Has the 2 orders, and
let's not give Varen a pass here.
Let's never give.
I don't have enough information to say that they were in cahoots in this, but I mean it. Just the way she reacted and everything, I don't think this was something Alana did just totally out of the blue. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't discuss it. She stood there
as
and
a Brown,
it
it would be on character to be like, "Hey, we've never been able to bond a Chandler before. I want you to do it because you're great, and we figure out." I mean, that's right up Brown's alley.
Right.
You know what? I've never heard that theory of like maybe Varen influencing Alana, but that is a good point. Like you wonder what the wording that Varen said. She goes, because Varen was the one that spoke up when Rand was threatening to literally kill them. It was Varen, not Alana. It was like, you said not to harm you, or you asked, or she didn't harm you. She did the opposite of that. That's all she did was bond you. And the way she was like, that's all she did. Meanwhile, it's like crazy lifelong commitment nuts thing that she just tried to brush off. It was like, Varen knows what that means. So a very interesting choice of wording. Yeah.
But nothing was negative towards Alana. Like, oh my gosh, why'd you do that?
Nothing.
You bonded without consent. So like,
and
because there was none of that negative reaction, right? And then they jumped to let's tag team the shielding. It just seems planned. It seems like it was thought out.
If you're into bondage, it's important. Consent is very important.
So we're and safe words
and safe words,
right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to be on the same page with that.
Yeah, exactly. Your Tinder date from years ago, where she was in a roping, right?
I learned a lot. It was an experience.
Interesting. It's not a very well cooked up one, though. If Varen, because I give Varen a lot of thought merit, even though she didn't display it very well in this chapter, I will say that this is probably one of her lower moments, but without a doubt. But I just, something in me wants to pause at Varen going, and Alana lets the both of us surprise Rand and try to shield him. I hope that she didn't have that. I was in cahoots with that, but the potential is definitely there because the context clues do suggest to that possibility because of the way that she responded. Maybe she was just trying to be in solidarity with another sister in front of Rand to make a show that we're both Aes Sedai, even though Alana messed up, I'm still gonna support, but maybe there were in cahoots. It's very
sisters before dragons. I don't know.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I got that reference. Yeah, but it's interesting to take for sure. I just know that what she did is unforgivable.
Not cool.
What she honestly. Rand saying just stay away from me for both of them and just turning around and walking away. I don't know. That's, even though I'm not talking about what he did with the Two Rivers girls. That's another, that's a comma. And then what he did with the Two Rivers girls is over here in the just absolutely messed up territory. But speaking strictly of how he handled Varen and Alana, he just actually was just like, all right, don't come around me again, and I guess that's fine. That's the most level-headed. I mean, I would just, especially with Luce Theron freaking out, he handled that role, that part really well. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if it would have been me, I would have just been like, okay, cool. Like some sort of mind rape you try to do on me. Peace out. Just don't come near me
Yeah.
again. Like that's
Well, he knows
very,
he needs to figure this out. And like
Yeah.
Alan said, his first thought was about Lan. Like, I wish Lan were here because I don't know what this means. What does this mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So he knows he needs that time and space to try and figure it out, and especially the space, because certainly Rand doesn't want to be in a position where he's being controlled. So yeah, I mean, kudos to him for that. But then opening the door and losing his shit, not
Yeah.
as cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Directed his anger elsewhere, which is not a healthy thing to do. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyways, yeah. So anything else from these chapters?
I'm surprised I remembered as much from these chapters as we did. And I guess kudos to you all for keeping us on topic and filling in the blanks. Because between missing last week and just everything going on, being rushed to read, this is probably the least prepared I've been. So sorry for that. But I think it turned out great.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I
I
think
think we hit all the highlights.
your insights were well, thought out, and you had,
Yeah.
you contributed just as much. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just means I don't have to prepare ever. All right. You should have said that. Because
Did you go back and
You
listen
gotta
to Chris from last week?
so I listened to about half of it and then fell asleep. Not because
Okay.
y'all put me to sleep, but just I was exhausted. So some of it might have sunk in, like subconsciously.
Yeah.
But
It's all good. Well, yeah. Favorite character?
oh,
I know it's such a trend now. I was thinking about instead of doing favorite character, we just do smash or pass at the end. But favorite
We can do that too.
So Alana, smash or pass? No.
I
Smash.
have to go. I have to go Pedro now.
Pedro now. Smash or
Mostly
pass?
because pass. Just the big reversal in attitude and perspective and everything, like we talked about.
True.
Yeah, he won me over for a little bit. And like how you were pointing out, like as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't hate this guy. Wait a minute, I kind of respect this guy. I won't say I like him, but I
No.
respect him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
like his
one. It's a good
moves.
pick. Pedro now
Yeah.
is definitely becomes more likable.
I almost
like
went
I
with
said-
Pater, but we'll go.
Oh, Pater. Good old Pater. What
My
do you think's
favorite-
going to happen with Pater? Do you have any predictions?
Who's that new Forsaken we got? The dude that's like super evil. Begins
The
with a
girl?
D.
one.
Demon Dread.
The male. Yeah.
Demon
Maybe
Dread.
that's him.
Pater's Demon Dread.
I think it'd be extra funny if so early on I was like, worst dark friend ever, but then it turns out he's the great Lord of the Dark himself.
What?
like I so got that shit wrong.
Best thing I've ever heard. This is
Pater's
the
Demon
best I've ever heard. Yes.
It's
I
like
thank you
intent-
so much for inviting me. Oh my god.
He's intentionally trying to seem useless, but that's just so he could work his way,
It's a farce. It's like Darth Jar Jar Binks. It's
yeah.
I was gonna say my favorite character is probably Morgaze, because of just how you feel for her and her trying as hard as she could. I think in her position, she did the best that she could. So yeah,
She's still making moves. She's making plans. She's making plays. She's not giving up.
She's not.
Mhm.
She's a fighter.
What about you, Ellen?
Oh yeah, my favorite character. Probably Bael. Just the big Russian.
They won't talk to me.
Won't talk to me.
What?
Well,
Not getting any information from anybody.
Anybody.
He's gonna go out. He's gonna go out tomorrow with like whatever the teenage kids are wearing. So he's gonna like change what he's wearing.
Oh my god!
Put his hat sideways. Try and use the lingo. Be like,
How do you do?
"Hey
fellow
kids, what's hip? What's fat?" All right.
Oh my god.
Like the Steve Buscemi meme or whatever. Hey kids.
Yes.
Trying to mix it up. You're like,
Oh,
this
kids.
is awkward.
Yeah.
Super.
Well, next time we're going to be doing 2 chapters again. And maybe we'll get some answers because the next 2 chapters are 11 and 12, which are lessons and teachers and questions and answers. So lessons and teachers is 11 and questions and answers.
Is there going to be a quiz at the end? Or I feel like we're going to school. What's
there might be. This is very, very...
It's very Branaja. It's very Branaja.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maybe Rand learned some more about this bondage.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yep.
Gets a tutorial on BDSM and how it all works.
He's gonna get back to his room and there's gonna be like all these weird tables and chairs and contraptions. Be like, the fuck is all of this?
Lessons begin tonight.
Yeah, right. That's a lot of leather.
That's a whole lot.
Meanwhile, Lutheran is just like humming and pulling on his ear as he normally does.
Yeah. Good times. Well, thank you, Jenn, for joining us for a hour and a half of us working through this chapter. Yeah. Tell everyone, like, I know you mentioned before you're on Twitch on 3 days a week, you said?
Yes, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to be returning at 11 a.m. tomorrow, so I can make use of the green screen that I got and a couple of bells and whistles that I've got. So come join me on that. Oh, thank you. I think Jake posted it. So if you want to hang out while I play Skyrim, if you enjoy that kind of thing, or old CRPG games and retro stuff, I got all sorts
have you beat Skyrim before?
I have.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of a relaxed vibe. Like you put on the music and I go do things, and then it's kind of a filler game in between like old CRPG games. Like, so I don't know what I'm going to go to next, but like I'm talking like old like 1990s like point and click adventure Sierra games. I enjoy that. So yeah,
that's fun.
Thanks.
Yeah, gaming's always fun. I started it's an old game, and I started just playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's an RPG Star Wars game.
Yeah.
I haven't played in years, and I reloaded on the computer. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll start playing again.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's still not the greatest graphics, but the storyline's fun, and it's fun.
Sometimes the fun graphics are just silly, and it's just for nostalgia vibes. It's kind of what I'm going for. So.
Meanwhile, I still play Mario Kart, Mario Party with the kids.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I've been loving Mario Kart since 64 at Alan's house.
There you go.
And the Mario Kart, Mario Party parties.
So my
those are the best and intense.
Talk about old games. My son is in preschool, and all the kids in preschool are obsessed with Sonic now because of the Sonic movies.
Oh. And back to your time, I knew
the old Genesis days.
That's right.
And so my wife was like, I think I still have my old Sega Genesis in the attic. I was like, there is no way that crap works. It has been plugged on since we've been dating. We've been dating for well over 10 years. And I know it's been years before, like this was back when she was like a kid when she had this thing.
Yeah.
No, we plugged it in, the fan, nothing turned on. And I was like, it's not gonna work. It didn't work. But she still had Sonic, and she you still had the game cartridge, and she's like, maybe we can actually let him play the actual original Sonic. And I was like, there's no way. And it didn't work. I was like,
that'd have been cool.
If we want to, I can hook my controller up to, and I can get like a driver for the computer.
I don't know if it's on Switch, but maybe the kids can play.
You can get it on computer and get like a cracked version of it. Yeah. You can get it online.
I played the Oregon Trail, like the old school original Oregon Trail.
Nice. Did you die dysentery?
I actually did it, but I never
lost half your party.
Okay, I never got to the point where you had to go all the way to the water because I was a kid and I never made it that far. So I didn't realize that you had to like actually navigate the rocks. So I smashed at the very end, like half my wagon into the water and lost like half my family. They died. So I was so close. Anyway, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Good old games. Yeah. Every once in a while, you got to plug in some old. They're revamping GoldenEye too. Did you hear that, Ian?
I refuse. You've damaged me.
The old school GoldenEye. I've heard.
Yeah, it's going to be the exact same game, just redone with modern graphics.
Hopefully, they have different spawn points.
I think it's going to be the exact same game.
No.
I don't know if you heard, but Alan, we used to play with him a lot. He had all the spawn points memorized, and depending on the level, he wasn't always right with it, but like 90% of the time he had it right. So he'd shoot you, kill you, and then on his screen you see him racing. By the time you come back to life, he's right in front of you, shoots you in the face again, runs off again. Like I couldn't do anything.
That's dirty.
So I refuse to play it.
They're making it for Switch. For Switch. And they're apparently they're just going to modern re-image it. So it's going to be the exact same game, just modern imaged. So it's going to look like,
a lot of people my age say that it's one of the best games they've ever played. Maybe they didn't play with something that was so unfair to them, like with Ian. But I'm going to be interested.
Very cool.
No, it's going to be interesting to see your feedback on that. So that's interesting. Yeah.
So you want to know how old I am? The first computer game I ever had was a Star Trek game on an old IBM something giant computer with a floppy disk. And I'm not talking about the floppy disk like the hard disk. I'm talking about the ones that actually flopped.
Oh, okay.
It was like that one. And you put it in, it loaded up, and all it could do was you could hit the numbers like F1, F2, F3, and they all did different things. Like fire the photons, you'd hit F2, and you'd just hit keys because it was all DOS based and really crappy graphics. But I remember playing that game as a kid, and I have no idea what I was doing, but it was Star Trek.
The old Might and Magics is what I used to play on an old IBM, like Isles of Terra. It was good. Betrayal at Krondor, my favorite game of all time. I've streamed as well. Obviously the point and click adventures. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
San Andreas Golf, we had that on the computer as well.
That.
Where you just hit the space bar.
It was fun though.
It was fun. It was awesome. Fun. The only negative to streaming these things is sometimes trying to make 3 hours of playing that is difficult. So that's why I'm in the middle of a Skyrim thing, because now I'm like, oh my God, some of these games I can finish in a very short amount of time. So that's kind of the issue. But thanks.
2 seconds to beat it. It's like, but then some games were you go back to play some original Nintendo games. They're incredibly hard.
Yeah,
so tough. Good Lord, it was tough. Because I remember trying to play.
Final Fantasy was hard on the
very hard.
Very hard. I love that game. But
it's time consuming.
And everything. Yeah. Oh yeah, very much.
And you do the hold reset while you turn power off, but that didn't always work. I mean, I've been halfway through before and lost everything. And that
Paperboy was tough. Paperboy's tough. Trying to time it just right. I mean, it was
those were the days.
Those were the days.
Yeah, good times. That's what I'm about.
Yeah. Good times. Anyways, so so check out Jenn on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Twitch. If you watch Twitch, usually I'll put on Twitch before I want to go to sleep. No offense to all the Twitch. Usually, video games are like a way just to chill and relax and put something in the background as I'm trying to fall asleep.
Yeah, that works.
So I've done that before. But but if you're into that stuff, that's cool too. Sometimes if it's a game I'm currently playing, sometimes I'll watch some Twitch stuff. But cool. And then I guess check out your new podcast. It's Leftist Literature.
Oh, the Literary Leftist.
Leftist, literally left backwards. Dyslexia.
So the funny thing about that, this is a Wheel of Time thing, is because because I'm with 2 other people, and Autumn, when I wanted to talk about some of the Wheel of Time with her, she's like, I can't. I'm on book 8. It was at the time. This was last December when we came up with the idea. And she just finished it a week ago. So now she's like, okay, spoiler free. So the other day we were in a Discord voice chat, and we had someone that was coming on and talking to us about the books. And she didn't realize, but Autumn had her speakers on, and her partner, who has not read the Wheel of Time, heard the things that she was talking about. It's a big spoiler about a major character in the last battle happened. And her partner was like, I know enough to know how big of a character this is. Thanks. I don't want to read the Wheel of Time anymore. And that happened. So we were like, it was like
tragic.
It was tragic.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. So most of the time we talk about food and books. Brandon Sanderson fan, the person I mentioned earlier in the stream that had bought the highest tier for the Brando Sando books coming out next year. He's a part of it. They've read way more than I have. I can't.
Sure.
But it's fun. So I'm just there, and I'm kind of learning about how real world events shape literature as well as
Yeah.
the environment around us. So yeah.
I feel bad for our other co-host Chris, who couldn't make it today because of his fiance. So like when we started this podcast, he
Mhm.
was single. He didn't even know her yet.
Oh,
And then they started dating. He told her, of course, about the podcast, and she started reading the books. Now she's passed him on the books, and he has to read at our pace because of the podcast. And
That's funny. It's not
he has to
funny.
live with
She
her.
flew
And
past him.
she knows.
Crazy.
She's already done with Lord of Chaos. She's on the
Yeah.
Connoisseur.
And she's dropping Raffo on him, and
Yeah.
Really is she? Good for
yeah.
her.
So, fun times.
Yeah.
So he has to live with it.
Maybe we should have her on as a guest sometime.
We're going to.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to at
That
some
would be
point, so.
lovely. Yeah, you could
So.
talk about how you met during the podcast and her
Yeah.
Raffo dropping it in live so everyone can see her giving him a hard time. That would be great. That'd be great content for y'all. So,
Definitely. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up. How we can be found is at The Wheel Reads everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, obviously. Any podcast platform. I think we're on pretty much all of them. Also, just go to our website, thewheelreads.com. It has links to everything, such as our Discord channel. You can buy merch there. We have lots of t-shirt designs, frosty mugs, shot glasses. We have baby clothes. If you're thinking about having a kid or know someone's having a kid, we do have a whole baby clothes line.
oh wow, I did not know that. That's really
Yeah. So we got onesies. Yeah,
whole
we got
family.
onesies. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, and they're great.
And I can clarify,
my-
your shot glasses are top quality, y'all. If you're looking to get into
they're
a shot
great.
glass, they have like a rim. They're heavy.
golden
They're
rim.
thick.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. So
Mhm.
check them out, y'all. Go ahead.
Mhm.
yay.
Yeah, and my favorite onesie for the baby onesies. It's a picture of a little sailboat. And it says "Just left Tarvalin." So you have a
good
baby
one.
wearing, a little baby wearing, a little.
That
boat
is, that's cute.
scene.
Check it out.
If you know, you know. So it's
I love
one of
it.
those things. Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, and then you can support us as well by, like I said, buying the merch, or you can just do a Patreon. We do have a Patreon, lots of different levels, lots of different perks for different levels, whether it's some higher levels get merch. Other times you just get access to you get a shout out on the podcast, or access to our Discord, different things like that. So go check that out. And yeah, that's all I got for this week. So
Until next time.
Yay.
I guess I say peace.
Yeah. I was like, do I say it? Do you say it?
Do I say
you
it? Say it? I don't know. Okay, bye.
Hey, bye.
All right.